Welcome. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. It is a beautiful day out. Spring is here. We are going to have a great show today. I'm very excited about our guests. What is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams, you ask? Well, first of all, it is produced here on the Real Communications Network, and it is brought to you by Kensington Vanguard, National Title of Texas. This is a good news show. We're talking about what's going on in the greatest metro area in the country. That would be DFW here in the greatest state, Texas. Why are we the greatest metro area? Why is this the greatest state? Well, everybody wants to move here. Everybody's coming. 1,000 people a day are moving to DFW. So something's going on here that's exciting for people, that's bringing them here. Companies are moving here. When companies move here, people follow. We're really excited about that, and that's what we talk about here. Why are people coming here? What's driving them here? What is the good news that's going on? If you want bad news, you can turn on the news. You can listen to talk radio on your way in, and if you're like me, be hopping mad by the time you get home. But here we're going to talk about the good things, and I've got some great guests with me today. But before I introduce them, Zach, that music, man, what was that? Was that Metal 6 or was that Metal 7?
That was Hard Rock Demon. Yeah.
All right, Hard Rock Demon. Man.
It's a classic, yeah.
They're good. I think they're coming to town soon, aren't they?
I think they are, yeah. Bomb Factory. That's where you can check them out.
All right. We only play the top hits.
Nothing but the
here
hits.
On the Working Title Show. Hey, let me introduce my guests. We have with us Jordan Espeseth. Does I get that right, Jordan?
You got it.
Jordan is the publisher for Real Producers Magazine in North DFW. That would be your region, I guess, right, Jordan?
Yep, that's the territory, North DFW.
Awesome. One of our favorite areas. And also with us, Troy Olson of the Troy Olson Team Century 21 Judge Fight. Hey, Troy.
Zach, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you guys both so much for being here today.
Hey,
welcome.
Happy to be here.
So you guys, y'all are both in the real estate space. I mean, are y'all feeling what I'm feeling? I mean, here we are again, 2018, and I mean, it looks like we're going to have another record year or close to a record-breaking year. Are y'all pumped up about it?
We are. I know at our team we're starting to see more showings on listings, and the buyers are calling, and fear of interest rates going up. So it's starting to get really crazy again.
Interesting. Jordan, how about you and your side of the biz? Are you seeing things pick up for you?
Yeah, well, we're just starting in this area, and lucky for me, I got to be in the best market in many people's eyes as North DFW, and I get to work with the people who are dealing, like Troy, who are dealing with the market and changes and all the things that are happening, and I get to focus on them while they deal with what they do best, which is nice.
Awesome. Well, I want to ask you about your magazine, but Troy, you mentioned something interesting. You said, with the fear of interest rates picking up, is that creating a frenzy? Is that driving more people to pull a trigger maybe if they faster than they would have?
Yeah, I think something that definitely they're starting to ask us about. I mean, we have, no specific knowledge that it is or isn't going to happen. We're speculating that, things are going to go up a little bit, and that's going to change what people can afford. And obviously everything in North Dallas where we cover is driven around schools and good school districts. So things typically get pretty crazy, mid-March to, early August, right before school starts. So now is the time to act on it.
Are you, with spring break ending, kind of last week, I guess, for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's only Tuesday, so I don't know if you've had a great barometer, but do you expect the calls and the frenzy to escalate now that we're on the other side of the spring break? I
do. In fact, in the 14 years that I've been in real estate, I've never had 3 listing interviews in one day. And I actually have 3 tomorrow. So excited about that. And then we've got 2 buyers going on Friday, and 1 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, and 1 on Saturday. So I definitely feel that spring break is over, and it's go time.
And people are thinking about maybe that next home.
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Now, Jordan, so, I was thinking about this before the show, and you're with a magazine, and where we see newspapers, getting away, everything's going digital. Y'all are actually, kind of a startup in print. I don't know if startup's the right word, but a newer print company. So while everybody's leaving print, you're all are getting into it. So tell us about Real Producers Magazine, and how are y'all bringing value to the marketplace in print?
Yeah, well, It's funny they say that. I literally had the exact same question when I was approached with the position, and I was like, I thought print's going out, right? Like, no one's doing that no more. Everything's moving digital, and that's true in a lot of aspects. But what you find is when you take something that's a bit of a niche and you can make it into a publication, those are the things that are really rocketing right now. And what we have with Real Producers is a niche market.
So what is Real Producers? Like, tell us y'all's concept and what y'all are doing.
Yep. So we started 4 years ago, actually, in Indianapolis. The main man, Remington Ramsey, is his name, and he started it kind of as a concept to see what would happen, and it just took off like wildfire. And we're now into 50 markets across the U.S. North DFW being our most recent market.
So y'all are doing something right.
Yeah, and we're expected to go an additional 50 just this year alone.
Incredible.
And so we're moving, and the whole real concept behind Real Producers is we take a market and we highlight, and it goes to the top 500 real estate agents in a market. We have some smaller markets where we focus on the top 300, and these are based off of the MLS number. So we're getting
real data
of the top 500 in a market. And the magazine, it goes out to them. It's really designed to bring together the people who are taking this position as a real estate agent seriously, and to bring them together at a more intimate level. Just in our North DFW, I believe, Troy, maybe you can help me with this, but somewhere around 20,000 agents. When we're talking north of 635 all the way to Rockwall and Denton. Agents within there, we're talking like probably 20,000.
Yeah, I've heard 25, 27, somewhere in that range. So yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
There's no shortage of us.
Yeah.
So the top 500, that's a pretty small segment of that group.
Right, top 1-2%. People who are doing this at a high level, and we get to I'm lucky to be in the position to sit down and meet with these people and hear their stories, and we focus on who most people know, like Troy Olson as the top agent, but they maybe don't know him as the person that what he likes to do on his free time and what he's heavily involved in, and when he's not doing agent stuff, and so we get to reveal the human being behind this title that they've been kind of living by.
That's interesting. Troy, what are you doing when you're not selling real estate? We all would like to know that. That's
so
the number one question on the show, actually.
If they're doing anything else.
I would say flipping houses, building and rental properties, and it's every day, all day in real estate in my world.
And no long walks in the woods or anything?
No, I unfortunately haven't seen the gym in a couple of years either. So, no, managing the team, growing the team, and just keep doing what we're doing. Growing up on a farm in Wisconsin, my father always said, you got to bale hay when the sun is shining, and we feel like it's doing that right now, so we're going at it hard. That's
exciting. So, Jordan, what's the readership? Who's reading Real Producers?
Yep, awesome, great question. So, what we've created it's very exclusive. This is not your typical broad-based magazine that goes out to 100,000 people or every real estate office within North DFW. We're talking about the top 500. They get this magazine for free. They're getting it. Basically, you could look at it almost as a badge of honor for being a top 500 agent.
Right. Troy, have you gotten the magazine yet?
I have not.
You're not in the top 500, I guess. Okay. So I just kidding there. So
I think you're looking at some bad data.
Yeah.
You just the magazine actually hasn't printed yet. Am I right, Jordan?
Yeah, we're going to print here in North DFW, and within we're shooting for early summertime.
All right. So Troy, you will be getting one then.
Oh yeah.
I look forward to it.
Awesome. Hey guys, hold that thought. When we get back, we're going to talk more about this great new magazine that's coming here to DFW, and we're going to hear more about Troy's real estate practice. And actually, Troy, you have a TV segment coming up we're going to talk about as well. Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
Well, we'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks for being here. It's the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. Thank you. All right. We are back. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. Hey, Zach, is that Cannibal Corpse? Who is that?
That is Air Raid Metal. I love this bit, by the way. I like that we do this, go back and forth about the music.
One day I'm gonna get the band correct, I think.
Someday.
Yeah. I know Cannibal Corpse is in there somewhere. think their last gig was on the Ace Ventura 1.
Cannibal Corpse. Oh yeah, the band and Ace Ventura. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
what you're talking about.
they were in the front of that club where the guy underneath actually tracked whales. I'm sure that's a totally true story.
Yeah, New England clam chowder. That's the password.
Is that the red or the white?
Ace Ventura. Yes, Pet Detectives. Good.
Yeah, good stuff. I showed that to my kids the other day who are 7 and 8, and my wife thought it wasn't appropriate.
I mean, that's
it's never too early for a good education.
That's right.
That's right.
Anyways, okay, so I guess we're back on the air here, and Troy, Jordan, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Jordan Espeseth with Real Producers Magazine North DFW and Troy Olson of the Troy Olson Team Century 21 Judge Fight. So guys, before we went on break here, we were talking about just how many people are moving to DFW, and I mean that's a great thing. That has to create some challenges as well in the marketplace. Troy, do y'all find any challenges that come out of this many people coming here at a time?
Yeah, we definitely have felt it in the traffic. We felt it in severe lack of inventory where you're in multiple offer situation. So it's great if you have the listing and you're getting multiple offers. And then if you've got the buyer, obviously it's frustrating because buyers can get emotionally attached to the house that they think they want, and then they find out that there's 10 other offers on it and it's sold or contracted for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 over list price. They get very frustrated, and it's our job to make sure they stay engaged and don't give up with the process and end up going to rent something.
Sure. And that's, real estate deal is already stressful enough. Add 10 or more competitors on a home. That's just got to take people through the roof, I would think.
It does, and especially if they're, buying their house for the first time, or they're not familiar with, the intensity or the lack of inventory that we've had in North Dallas for the last couple of years, not just last year. So it can be a frustrating process. It's our job to manage that emotion and get them through the process.
Absolutely. So you turn into like part-time counselor sometimes, I would think.
Absolutely. Without the therapy degree.
It should be a requirement. You guys should get that degree before you get into real estate.
You might get an honorary one if we keep going like this.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that designation yet, but I'll look for it.
I think we're onto something here. We might have a new designation coming around. So Jordan, tell us about your magazine. Now we know the top 500 agents is who you're marketing to and who kind of your core audience is, but so assuming that there's a value add for these agents, how does the magazine achieve that value add for an agent like Troy who's in that top 500 and working or producing at a very high level?
Right. And these agents, Troy, you guys are invited to everything on earth, and there's so many different events that you can go to, and so the thing that we're trying to kind of create around this is a bit of a exclusivity in the fact that these are the people who are doing, the 500 top agents are doing 80% probably more of the entire volume. And so, people want to rub elbows with people who are the best at what they do. And,
right.
And creating that environment where, people get to read Troy's story, and maybe they were another top agent, but they don't know Troy. And now, they only knew him as the man who produced this much last year, and now they get to hear his story, and as you do that, as we move along with all these top agents and these rising stars and different segments that we put in there, it for the agent provides a bit of a deeper meaning and more enjoyment that they kind of get out of working in this industry of real estate, and
so there's kind of a networking that comes out of this group and with what y'all are putting out there.
Totally. So the magazine goes out every single month to the top 500, and let's say Troy, he has a good chance of being featured and potentially a cover story in one of our upcoming issues if he is open to that. And it's no cost to Troy, right? That's what's kind of the beauty of this magazine is it's very authentic. It's very true. We can't be bought out. Our cover spot can't be bought out. It's just us meeting. And if Troy's a good dude and he fits the mold of what we're about, then he has that opportunity to be on the cover, and it's no cost to him. He just has to show up, look cute, and tell a story.
No trouble looking cute.
Got that radio face.
Is that where I give a shout out to the J. Hilburn custom suit?
I think you just did. There you go. Yeah, always dressed impeccably well, even for radio. So, so it sounds like these features that y'all are doing on an agent, Jordan, it sounds like that'd be a great tool for somebody like Troy to utilize on, appointments for, potential listings or somebody who's working with, add some credibility, that might not be otherwise realized.
Totally. So it gives a ton of credibility, and we hear stories from all of our publications. One of my favorite is in Indianapolis, where it started. They were actually putting in like the top 10 standings every month of the top 10 agents in the market. Number 10 comes in to a listing appointment with his magazine. He's number 10 on it, and he uses that as a listing tool. And the seller's like, yeah, we really like you, but they have one more person coming in and this person comes in, and the sellers are honest and said, we really like that last person. He was number 10 in the market. He's really great. And the new agent that came in said, well, how do you know he was number 10? They said, well, he brought this Real Producers magazine in, and he was number 10 on the list. And he goes, well, did you see who was on the cover? And it was him. His name was Dick Richwine, and
great name for a
great
cover.
name. And as you'd imagine, Dick was the one that got the listing.
Yeah, so know who you're going up against before you bring the magazine. You
Right.
might have the other candidate on the cover there.
Exactly. That's a good
funny.
point. That's a good point.
So Troy, American Dream TV, you're coming up this Saturday. We feature, our guests on the American Dream every week on this show. So we haven't had you on yet. I know you did a segment last Saturday, and we'll link to your last segment. But tell us about why the American Dream is important to you and wanting to be on that show, and a little bit about your upcoming segment.
Sure. So an example that Jordan used is, ever since I signed the agreement with American Dream TV, when I go out on my listing interviews, there's actually a slide in the presentation that speaks to the TV show, and I tell them what it's about, and I tell them that there were 12 agents in all of DFW that were selected for this show, and I was one of 12, and there's only 11 other people in the entire Metroplex that can say that, and the last 2 listings that I've got that were north of 750, both of them actually sent me follow-up emails saying, when does the show air? When are you going to feature, my listing? So it's not just me telling them. That really has stuck with them.
It resonates.
Absolutely. So
Right.
they're asking for it. In fact, the one that we shot, I guess 2 Thursdays ago, that aired last Saturday, I had emailed the clip. They had been traveling to where they're relocating to in Charlotte, so I took the email from the producers and
Right.
sent it to them, and I got great feedback out of it. So they don't think that it was just something that I'm telling them, in a listing interview to make myself look better. That it's actually real, and it's going to happen, like the magazine, and it's been very good. I have yet to lose a listing this year, since I've been able to use the TV show as another platform to market their listings.
Wow, that is that's excellent feedback, and you're the first to give us that feedback. So, man, that's really great. So, Jordan, with the magazine, how do y'all support the magazine? How do y'all get it out? Who is it? All through advertising? Where are y'all generating revenue from?
Yep. So again, like we talked about, this is free for the agents. There's not a dime that they can pay to go towards this magazine. So, and what we do is, with the magazine, we got the best agents, and we want to make sure that and it gets paid by the vendors. That partner with our magazine. So titles and lenders and builders and inspectors and so on. And but we, to be honest, we just don't go down the list and start calling title reps and just, there's a million that we could start calling and go down the lenders. And what we do is I meet with these top agents. I hear their story and then I they're the ones who are going to be getting the magazine. I say, who is it that you're working with? Because we know that if you as a top agent are working with this title company and this lender, that they're probably doing a really good job.
Right.
And so we vet them as best as we can to make sure that we got the top agents. We want to make sure as best we can we got the best of the best vendors that are also supporting this. So it's exclusive. Try to be the best in all aspects of it, not just agents.
So the magazine's also highlighting some of the best affiliates, vendors, strategic partners that agents are working with in the Metroplex, which are also good for the consumer out there as they're getting a window into some of the better companies to work with.
Totally. So one of the things that we do, other than obviously people have these vendors have advertising space within the magazine, we'll take each month. One of our issues we'll we'll take a 2-page spread and highlight one of those vendors that have partnered with us. And we'll talk about them. We'll have pictures of them and their team and their dogs if they want or whatever it is. And they'll talk about what makes them unique, why an agent would consider working with them, and also we're going to hear a bit about their personal side of it. So it's a great way for them, to get their word out and get exposure to some of these top agents that are doing a ton of business.
That's really, really exciting. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. Troy, I want to hear a little bit more about what's going on in the market and what the consumer needs to be thinking about as they start to step into this market. As like you said, we're coming to the summertime. People are starting to get that itch. So, what are some things we need to look out for? We'll appreciate your expertise on that. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. We will be back. And here we are. We are back. This is the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. And still with us is Troy Olson of the Troy Olson team, Century 21 Judge Fight, and Jordan Espeseth, publisher, Real Producers Magazine, North DFW. Guys, again, I can't thank you all enough for spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. You got it. So, Troy, as mentioned, spring break just ended. It's March. If you're thinking that this is the year you sell your house, or this is the year you buy that first home, or this is the year that you upgrade to a bigger home because the family's growing, I mean, you're starting to think about that now, right?
Absolutely, especially the time of the year. This is when it gets really busy, mid-March to mid-August. So.
Right. So let's for the person who hadn't sold a home or ever bought a home, take us through that. So it's let's say you're meeting with 3 people tomorrow, right? So if these people choose to put their home on the market, when are they going to go live, or when do you recommend that they go live? And then when does that look like that house actually sells, and when do they really move? It's March now. When are they moving into a new home, theoretically speaking? So
good question. I'll touch with, how long does it take to go live? What I tell a potential homeowner that decides that they're going to hire me, I can have them live in 4 days. Now, a lot of people say, well, what takes you so long? I need at least...
That seems pretty fast to me.
Well,
What takes you so long?
I use a professional photographer. They're very good. They're very busy. So obviously I can't just call them at 10 o'clock, on a Tuesday and have them out there that afternoon. So once I do the listing appointment or the interview, depending on what the house looks like, if it needs to be staged, decluttered, trimmed down, whatever you want to call it, I'll give them a shot to do that on their own, or if they want me to do it, with them, or bring in a professional for that. But my photographer, I need at least a 2-day advance notice to get him out there.
Right.
And
so
then,
what's out of 10 homes, how many need to be decluttered? 10 out of 10? 7 out of 10?
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And you got to do it in a way that, you don't offend them with their colors, and we're talking, personal pictures and jewelry and electronics. Getting the home to look,
like a model.
Absolutely.
Right.
With, blankets and pillows and furniture. And again, depending on how long they've lived there, they may have lived there a long time and they accumulated a lot of stuff, and again, it's all about what it looks like online.
Right.
If it doesn't look good online, you're not going to get as many people looking at it in person.
Right. And so when we say show ready, not everybody understands what that means. But like if you were to tell somebody, go look at a model home that a builder's got on the market, it looks a lot different than somebody that's living in that home. Is that kind of what we're getting at there?
Absolutely. Not only on the inside, but on the outside as well. It's got to have good curb appeal. Plant some flowers. Put down fresh mulch. Make sure the touch-up paint, the front door, things that are really going to show up in that primary photo in the MLS to start, but that's going to filter down into a lot of the other websites that the consumers are looking at, the Realtor, the Trulia, the Zillow, all of that. So, and then when you get on the inside, furniture, make sure it's in the right position, kids and the toys and the kitchen, the countertop. You don't want cookbooks and coffee makers and knife sets and electronic cords and all that stuff. Just
right. The stuff that's normally on your counter
that you use every day, all day.
Right. People don't think that that's something to move off.
Absolutely, we got to get it cleaned up, get it ready for the professional photographer.
That's very, very interesting. So Jordan, let me jump back over to you. So What we were talking on the break, and y'all do some things that isn't just necessarily in the magazine. So how do y'all connect with your audience with the top 500 outside of print, outside of the articles?
Yep. So again, we do that monthly publication, but the other thing that we do across all of our publications, we do quarterly exclusive events. And these are invited obviously for those top agents who are part of the top 500. Also, their teams that they work really closely with. They can come to these events. And obviously the vendors that partner with us, they get to come and hang out as well. And we're not gonna have booths. We're not gonna. It's just you, me, the other vendors and the other agents. With a glass of wine, maybe a beer. Just kind of mingling and masterminding a bit and bumping elbows with the people who are the best.
So it's
at
a
what
time
they
to
do.
network.
Yeah, network, connect. Build a better DFW market.
Well, I agree with that approach because Troy knows this as he's part of the mastermind group that we're in. But the agents that are in the top 500 or the top 1% that are moving that much, real estate. I mean, Troy, would you agree with this? Those are the people you're working with more often on a repeat basis than some of the agents that would be below that percentage. Would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, I met Jordan for the first time in person today, and just talking about some other people that he's talked to or that he's meeting with, I knew every one of the ones that he was talking to because we see them at builder events or builder award shows and trips and stuff like that
Right.
we all work very hard to win every year.
And even if you don't know them personally, you probably definitely know their name.
Absolutely. You know of them because you've either done a deal with them, you've made an offer on one of their listings, or they've done that on one of your listings. So
Sure. Does it make a deal easier if you have somewhat of a personal relationship with the other agent than if you've never met them before?
Absolutely. So any agent that I've ever done a deal with, they are programmed into my phone just because they stayed there from the communication, and that's always a good sign when they call and it's not a
Right. You
hey,
see that name pop
absolutely.
up, and you're like, oh God, I'd rather. Has a deal ever been done? Let's say two deals. You get two offers on one of your listings. They're exactly the same. The only thing is, one agent, you don't know the other one. I would think you'd be naturally inclined to want to work with the one assuming there was a good experience in the past.
Absolutely, because there's a level of comfort that agent is going to deliver, and when you get to that level, you've got good lenders and good title companies, you got good teams, transaction coordinators, support behind you that that they are going to facilitate that transaction from front to end, and if that makes me comfortable, it's certainly going to make my client comfortable.
Absolutely. Has another real estate agent on the other side ever made a deal go sour?
I mean, there's always deals that go south for whatever reason that it did. But even though there's 20-some thousand realtors, in North Dallas, it's still a very small world.
Sure.
And something that I try to follow and teach my team is, don't ever get sideways with another agent if you can help it, because you never know when they're going to come up again
Right.
on a transaction.
Your client, they might have the house your client wants.
Absolutely.
Right.
And if things didn't go well for whatever reason, they're going to remember that. So
Yeah, it's kind of same in our industry. It's small. You don't burn your bridges, right?
absolutely.
Very good point. Very good point. So let me follow up with this, Troy, and we're almost out of time. But when you were on recording your show last week, which will air this Saturday, 1:00, Channel 21. We'll link to this on the site. But y'all were talking about the importance of hiring, the right agent. You've kind of touched on this, by the things you do, the professional photography. I mean, you have a system for how you put homes on the market so they show the best and sell at the highest price in the quickest amount of time. But what are there some other things that separates the great agents from the not so great?
Sure. So the segment that I shot last week, I had the president and CEO, Jim Fite, of our brokerage firm. He took over in 1977. So not only has he been around a lot of agents, recruited a lot of managers, purchased other offices, through an acquisition, and seen the growth. But we've all been new at one time or another in this industry, and it goes back to make sure you land someplace where you're going to get good training, whether it be on a team or another brokerage firm, and then you need to communicate with your client. And I think the key word you hit on a few minutes ago was systems. everybody should have a system in place regardless of how big or small or how many deals you do, a month or a year, because at the end of the day, this is the most expensive asset that you are handling, for your client, whether it be a buy side or a sell side.
Sure.
You got to do it the right way.
You should treat it as which, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a really good point. So, Jordan, tell us if anybody listening wants to get a hold of you, find out more about the magazine. How do they do that? Where do they go?
Yeah, well, one way they can check out is realproducersmag.com. That's M-A-G.
Okay.
Realproducersmag.com. And how it typically works too. If I'm reaching out to top agents, I'm meeting with them. And
so if you're a top agent, you're going to hear from Jordan.
Yeah, look out, I'm coming.
Okay, all right, beware.
Troy, I'm coming, baby.
Understood.
All right, so they can find you on that. You want to give an email or a phone number anyway that we could reach you?
Yep. Yeah. If you guys got, if you got, one of the segments is a rising star segment, someone who they're 5 years or newer into the business. They may not even be in the top 500 quite yet, but they're an up and comer.
They're trending that way.
They're trending that way. If you guys, if you know someone, and you're like, this would be a great person who would fit the mold of that rising star. You can reach me, and I'm always open. You can send me a text or call me at which my cell phone number is 469-430-3443.
Awesome. We'll definitely put that on the site as well. Now, Troy, if somebody's out there thinking, hey, you know what, I am thinking about selling my home, or I'm thinking about upgrading, or it's the year I need to buy a home, how do we get a hold of you? Where do we find you? What's the best point of contact?
Sure. So the best point of contact is probably to reach me directly on my cell phone, 972-804-8803. We're based out of Frisco. Our office is at Lebanon on the Tollway, and the shop's is Starwood.
Right on. Is there a website people can go check you out?
TroyOlsonTeam.com.
TroyOlsonTeam.com. That'll also be up on the site. Guys, I can't thank y'all enough for taking time out of your day and sharing y'all's expertise on the marketing side and media and selling and buying homes and what to be looking for. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Zach,
It's
for
my
having us.
pleasure. Appreciate it.
You got it. This was the Working Title Show with Zach Sams. We will see you again next week. Thank you. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the podcast and listening today. I want to give a special thanks to Kensington Vanguard National Title of Texas. The show is sponsored by them, and Kensington Vanguard is a national title company with local people working here in Dallas-Fort Worth, specializing in commercial title insurance and residential title insurance. Kensington Vanguard will handle your escrow needs as well as your title insurance and your closing services. So you can go to the website at www.kv-lonestar.com to find our locations and our contact information. And we appreciate you using Kensington Vanguard National Title of Texas. We look forward to seeing you next week, where we will be talking about solar energy in the residential and commercial spaces. And we are really excited to hear about that. Something I wanted to know about, so I'm really excited to hear more about how that works. So we'll catch you next time on Working Title with Zach Sams. Thank you.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.